either. But we have to keep believing.
Absolutely.
The Romanians have been supporting their team
Definitely.
big time in the chat. We're helping them by at least trying not to butcher their language and try to at least get in on their culture a little bit, and they're trying to help us learn the names of their players. It's time to go to the first map. HELLRAISERS taking on NEXUS. We have, of course, a knife to decide what side to start on.
And we'll see. Of course, as always, the knife is kind of the indicator of whose game it's going to be, you know, who gets off to that confident start. In Dust 2, you'll, like pretty much every map, I dare say, you'll see the knife here meaning who's going to be on the CT side. And here we see it. It starts off well for NEXUS, actually. Look at this damage. It's a clean knife round, as a matter of fact.
Expected from the players of
course.
NEXUS, because, well, they're just too good to be true. They just had a very good win, and then starting on the CT side, there's a very good chance they'll be able to destroy HELLRAISERS once more.
Okay, fair enough. You once again, as always, you are confident as ever.
I am now going to ask a question to the chat in Romanian once more.
Oh boy.
Romania, esti gata?
Are you ready? Hey,
Very
look at that.
good.
I can speak Romanian. Boom.
Fluent as well. Let's hope that the people at the chat, or at least the Romanians in the chat, will be ready as well. Of course, now NEXUS starting on their favored CT side, trying to rack up kills with the USPs. And hoping they can, this time, fend off the HELLRAISERS side, who were too strong yesterday against them. Going to be Raga. Going down to flares with a Glock rather than the P250. That's just a little bit of a firing squad coming in from the side of HELLRAISERS. Not really the start they were looking for on the CT side. With now only one player actively standing on towards B. Never mind at 0. This problem takes down Smintse, leaving only the rotated from mid to return. BTN now being ready, and the players of HELLRAISERS still standing in the tunnels area, considering to go off, because of course they now know that yet another player has to rotate, and the side of NEXUS will be spread quite thin. And there's a very good chance that if they move as a unit, they'll have either a 5v2 or a 5v1 to fight against.
Yeah, and you know that even if you might lose one person in that... Oh, never mind. J-Lime is relentless. That is a lovely, clean headshot coming in from him. I was going to say, you know, if you're in that 2v3 or something, oh, IMA, that's solid. It's a good start. He tries and he eventually doesn't almost finish, you know, he almost succeeded. But problem there, survives by the nick of his eye. 2 HP left. And time is still somewhat in the favor of HELLRAISERS. They hold off well, and now they know, of course, IMA was there on the A bomb site, and the B site is now obviously open as they just fragged. As Kalinka just fragged there. He does go down now. It's Ime, he shows up, but in the end, JR shoots him down relentlessly, and HELLRAISERS win a, well, quite hard-fought pistol round, I dare say. They had to put in the effort for this one. It didn't go as smoothly as we've seen them go in the past.
It took quite some time, but eventually they did it work, and from the get-go they already had that opening kill as well on towards Raga, which made it way easier for themselves. Still, it's NEXUS playing on the CT side, going for the eco and then going for the buy round after. Something you see more and more from their side, trying to play the smart game, and well, this isn't too smart as BTN goes down to JR quite easily, quite quickly. As we're going to see more shots to come out. It's going to be Kalinka with a double kill, make that a triple with Flourish as well. Zeus!
Oh, the Zeus!
Almost coming in for a frag on towards Problem. And it's going to be 2-0 for HELLRAISERS. Now, I think if I'm judging by the chat, the Romanians are very, very ready to get this win in. And, well, they do happen to think there's 90% of the chat filled with Romanians, of course, cheering for NEXUS to get yet another win. And, of course, Seed 1, which would make it so much easier in the playoffs for themselves.
Yeah, and that would be a solid start, of course. We'll have to see whomever comes out on top of this grand final. And, well, I think that the Romanians are definitely ready, judging by their response. They are just overly excited at the way that you just really, well, do their language justice.
I'm trying. It's very hard because I've never really heard any Romanians speak, so I'm banking on whatever I hear from the people in chat trying to help us out, or of course Google Translate, which is my best friend forever.
Aww.
It's going to be still a 5-on-5. NEXUS now with their buy round, not having an AWP. Yeah, there isn't one either on the other side of HELLRAISERS. They actually do have 2 kill wheels and a scout. With now Raga going aggressive as always. Trying to spot out the player on towards short. BTN and him will both get a kill. Kalinka and J-Lime going down. And this might mean that Nexus could get a round in return. They've taken some damage, but well, they have also now actually done more. Xello taking down Problem. That's a very good one for the side of Nexus to make sure this round is in for themselves. With now a Galil to be picked up by JR rather than that Scout. But will it net them around?
That is the question to ask, right? It's probably right now not going to happen anymore. At least I don't see it happen anymore, I should say. HELLRAISERS who on this third round, at least JR does get that frag in the meantime, but he is going for that engagement, takes out some Insei as well. All right, there's a chance here maybe, but it's an incredibly tough fight, and he knows now, they know they're going to boost over him as a matter of fact. So he should be spotted out in a moment. That's a good flash, actually. Never mind, no chance. He gets fragged through the top of the smoke by Xello. And now we see Nexus taking their first round. And who knows, this could be one of many.
Well, Nexus now able to at least do something in return. They have lost a few too many players. We have to say that as well, which is unfortunate for them. But well, the good thing is they at least made playoffs. And they now have, of course, still a good buy. On the other side of HELLRAISERS, it's going to be a little bit hard, possibly, to see how things will come out, as their buy will be pretty decent. Utility coming down, Mach 10 as well, towards J-Lime. Not really the best thing, but at least an AWP and towards JR, yet lacking head armor.
And that armor is so important sometimes, but we'll see how he makes do. It is, at the end of the day, still an AWP, so he just has to connect one shot. Problem opens it up well, Xello goes down, and Raga pushed further up onto the side. He does have some support left from Long still, and we actually see a smoke going towards Long doors even in the meantime. HELLRAISERS, they're still kind of playing for this mid control here, and they are kind of grabbing it.
They're getting those contests coming down from Nexus players, peeking solo, and again, and again, and again. Leaving only BTN alive in that 1v5. He's moving up and he will eventually go down without getting a single kill for his team. HELLRAISERS bouncing back cleanly. In their T side so far, at least the start, has shown quite strong. There will be now an eco most likely coming out from the Nexus side, having a decent loss bonus. Yet of course that's not really what they were banking on. That loss bonus just still hurts them. Because that means they didn't really win a round. And of course, they now have to bank on the next round to bring them a possible chance for redemption.
We'll see what they can make do with some slightly upgraded pistols, Deagles in hand. The majority of them, they do try hard and they succeed. Aimee there gets that frag on Flaric. It's already a strong player for the HELLRAISERS side taken out. BTN also quite closely put up here, but then Problem jumps in and he gets that double kill with the AK in hand. Does have to suffer for it. And JR is relentless as he frags out Raga there at the top of mid, I believe that was. Now we see Kalinka here, still close to T-spawn. He's actually expecting some sort of rotation. But that's not coming into, or well, coming towards him just yet.
Well, USP legend, Aimee, is still moving on to the catwalk as he wants to take down JR. A USP shot could do it, because of course he doesn't have any head armor. And a flying Aimee will try to deal some damage. Apparently that doesn't really help your accuracy.
Really?
Well, no it doesn't.
The more you know, so you're telling me you should stand still while shooting?
Well, with the USP it's a little bit less, but of course, well, with most rifles, indeed, that would really benefit you.
Oh, so that's why it's always going wrong. I'm just bee-hopping happily across the map, you know, shooting around.
Well, that's why you are just a little bit less skilled in the caster clash as well than I am, because I know these kinds of things and they really benefit me. 4-1, HELLRAISERS doing quite well so far from the get-go. Also good pre-fire on towards Long, yet no damage being dealt. JR, however, also falling back before that molly actually starts ticking, and thus they will still be all on full 100 HP. Now expecting to see a B push to come in. Utility coming out from the side of Nexus, but as the smoke dissipates, they will fly in with a lot of flashes. One player actually on towards the side. He will be picked in by Kalinka. Clean kill to come in. There will be actually Raga with a quick rotate. He'll get one in return. Should be wary of the backside as there is a player now trying to pre-fire him as well. in that player will deal some damage. This will also be a molly at the window. So far, the plant will soon come in. It took their sweet time on the side of HELLRAISERS, but at least they want to establish control before trying to risk it. Because they weren't really sure if Nexus had any utility to work with.
And it looks like, well, at this point in time, there is pretty much none left for them. It's only IMA with that flash. That, oh dear, problem there, going for those exit frags, and even manages to take out Raga. They don't even bother anymore. They decide to preserve those weapons, not wanting to risk it time-wise. And of course, they also don't have those defuse kits that would be vital, I believe, in getting the defuse in there. Right now, we see the players moving away to Comfy by car and the others back into the tunnels.
Well, they're not in their mum's car, vroom vroom, but it will be that 5th round, and they're driving home this map so far. It is a very decent lead, and you seem to be disappointed, yet also amazed by my creativity.
Just, oh, wow. I would have, no, actually, I'm not going to ask that. I would have expected you to do a more convincing accent.
Oh, no, that would be a little bit too much of a push.
Yeah, that would be
you
a bit...
You have to make it sound as if it's casual.
Yeah, just you know, kind of make that breeze through there. Oh, well, let's see if HELLRAISERS keep it casual as well and get all those frags. Or if Nexus do make the comeback now on their pretty much, I dare say, with a little bit of tiny shortcomings here and there, they're full buy. Of course, HELLRAISERS do have a 4-round advantage, so Nexus have some catching up to do.
Well, we're going to see Raga sitting by with the FAMAS. I'm gonna ask if is the comeback real?
Oh dear, you're going for advanced sentences at this point.
Yeah, now it's gonna be very hard.
Yeah, this is good luck, buddy. No, oh boy.
Neferirea este reala?
Oh,
It
reala.
almost sounds like Spanish.
Yeah, the esta reala. Entonces hablamos español ahora.
I'm not gonna let Google Translate speak because that
sound,
or at least that voice, just a little bit too much for most mortals to handle.
And it pales a bit in comparison to our voices, you know.
Oh, indeed.
Like kind of ringing through here.
Then we sound inferior.
Yeah, it would destroy the vibe. Now we'll see, though, what might also be destroyed is Nexus their A-site defense. It all depends, though. Flash is coming in now. Giara is going to have to get that critical opening pick, and then, well, you would say he could give off that intel, but look at that B-site and how open that is.
Well, there's actually one player still standing by. Never mind Kalinka, the B-side entrance player as always. We've seen him perform before on towards the B-side as like the guy to get kill after kill. Ime and eventually Zello will both get a kill in return, however. Makes it into a 3-on-2, yet well, with the utility we usually be saved up by HELLRAISERS. It's quite easy for them to hold off, and Nexus, being so far away, they'll try to bank on 2 AWPs to, hopefully for them, result in towards a 2nd round. But so far, HELLRAISERS, strong as we would expect them to be, yet
always.
Nexus soon possibly with the comeback, because it's Reala.
The comeback is Reala. I guess Romanian focuses on really pronouncing those last letters, right? Is it? I mean,
yeah. So that's why I'm really concerned, because it has a very weird scribble on it.
Oh well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, the Romanians in chat will happily correct you, and I think first and foremost they'll be excited to hear you talk Romanian. You know, they love that representation.
Well, speak Romanian, make a pathetic attempt. It's
the same.
So far, they've been quite happy. So indeed, we're going to believe. As we do see 6-1 for HELLRAISERS. The odds, of course, in their favor as they're extending the lead. But, of course, afterward this one will go to Vertigo. And last time around, Nexus played decent, yet not strong enough to really make it hard for Nexus to, or for HELLRAISERS rather, excuse me, to get that win in. Will be Raga now with the 2nd AWP looking towards the B tunnels, but it's going to be once more that B take with Problem now also flanking from that mid area. Is there anybody to commit? No, they have to flank via short and go towards mid, and those 2 players on towards the side, they will have some trouble. Problem standing by, but Siminse now with the opening frag, as they're going to be still waiting for that push to come in. Nade to fall, it's going to be Raga to go rather low. He has to go a little bit further back. And it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game. HELLRAISERS still confident to go towards the B side. And there's currently only one player standing by. And that's Raga. Only one shot away from death. But of course, with the AWP, can just bring it back himself as well. That's going to be the frag on towards Kalinka. The main entry fragment so far on towards his B side has been taken down. Flares now with a refrag on towards Raga will mean that there is a chance for the side of Nexus. But Flares and JR, they're just too great. But they have taken damage and there might be a nade coming soon. And Molly as well. Yet the players of HELLRAISERS currently not walking in towards it.
And we'll see the plant going in now as well. But the HP for the players from HELLRAISERS doesn't seem to matter because J-Lime and Flourish, they ended up anyway. Xello and Inmei both taken out. The weapons and economy for HELLRAISERS being preserved and them off to a grand old start on Dust 2 here. Has to be said, Dust 2 was, of course, the Nexus map pick. And Nexus won the knife round. So you would say that Nexus get to start on their preferred side. However, even if they're on their preferred side, they still have too much difficulty here facing off against HELLRAISERS. I dare to argue that at this point, HELLRAISERS is starting to reach a level of confidence here, of round advantage that, honestly, I'm worried for Nexus. Oh, that's a good nade spam, but sadly it doesn't really connect to anything.
I'm starting to worry that HELLRAISERS will get those spreadsets rounds in the first half, as we do see that first kill come in from Kalinka. Clean headshot as always from the AK player right now. Doing some work, but Seminse will have one in return. Apparently, it's not Reala, but Real. Like you have Real Madrid. Xello taking the Deagle out, but so far no real damage to be dealt. It's going to be that they execute to come in. Well, not really an execute, just a walk-on. As there's going to be players standing by for possible exit frags. One at the A-long doors, it means now the AK on towards problem, but still low HP and low chances of winning the round. Imme standing by as JR, I do believe. No, Flourish actually, holding the angle from T-spawn. He's expecting the player to be there, and well, he's sniffing him out.
I believe, oh no, I was going to check if Flourish still had a nade. He does have a Molotov, I believe, so could, worst case, oh, there we go, but he knows now, and he
can wallbang. One shot.
Yep, exactly.
Pew pew, there will be a molly from the other side, and he almost ran into it as now J-Lime will get the frag.
He steals the kill.
It's so sad for, of course, our good friend Flourish now out of this one. So far, it's 8-1 in favor of HELLRAISERS. Nexus is now quite badly on the losing end. But possibly, after a while, especially in this round where they can buy, they can bring it back. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling.
Let's see, though. Maybe Nexus will hold on to that feeling. Right now, it's important, I think, for them to come back, though, to try and grab the winner feeling, which right now they're lacking a little bit. And we'll see if they can actually get that back now, because the advantage of HELLRAISERS is starting to become a bit too much. You can see Nexus getting stuck in this vicious cycle. Their loss bonus might be great. And
oh my god.
Oh dear.
He's still actually managing to win the fight as well. It's going to be JR falling to BTN. He will be dinged through the doorway. But still, that's a very good shot from himself to at least get the opener in favor of Nexus. How sloppy it may have been. We didn't see those jumps on towards the barrel. At least he hopes not. But well, unfortunately, it's been broadcasted. Well, it's going to be a little bit of a slower round. We do see HELLRAISERS trying to get somewhere. And, well, so far, Nexus able to get another round. Of course, fatigue will be a factor as BTN will be on fire. Not in the good way, because first he will be mollied, then he will be sprayed down. But Sim instead takes a frag towards Kling. That's a good frag, but as Raga then goes towards mid, it's going to be indeed J-Lime with 2 frags of his own. Molly towards mid, there will be a player in towards tunnels. He might actually be able to contest the bomb, but problem sitting by the AWP will get a clean frag. And that means with the gravity being put down on towards the floor, will be a 1v3 for none other than Imme. Spotting a player, that's Flourish. Oh,
knife?
Going for the knife. Oh, Batman. No, Batman! It's Imme with the frag, and that's at least a little bit of a makeup for this round.
But apparently, it's been said, right? Imme is apparently a real knife man. I remember reading
Haven't you seen how many knives he's had so far?
Yeah,
I would be surprised if he's not a knife man.
Yeah, no, but it's a consistent thing that keeps happening. And it is, I guess, in a way, a good thing because you get a 1,500 bonus every time, right?
And that it's the mental.
Yeah, and the mental
well.
too. The, you know, just the how do I put it? The sheer power of it, right? Just getting that knife frag.
Oh, this Batman. So this, you see him standing there.
Oh, the slow-mo and everything. Wow.
Production coming in clutch. You already see him. This is my down. You shouldn't come here, Joker.
Yeah.
And then he just goes for the knife. Meanwhile, Zello goes for the aggression. Will go down to problem as there's another player already standing by, and HELLRAISERS playing as a unit, as contrary to NEXUS as can be.
Just a little bit, you know. NEXUS, well, it's a bit of a sloppy play at the moment. It's solo. It's not really well put together. It's just messy altogether. There's no really good hold on the site. You can see HELLRAISERS, they can consistently peek in, get frag after frag. Sometimes there is a hold, of course, and Lime here in this case, which is apparently Lime, not J Lime, like I've been saying. Consistently can, well, get a frag hero there, and that's a bit of a problem, of course, for the side of NEXUS. Every time he can open it up, he can just take on the site, and usually then combine that with decent enough utility from HELLRAISERS, usually put down where it has to be. But for now, we see a bit of a delay coming in. You've got HELLRAISERS stacking up as a unit, of course, coming through that short position. It's a 4v4 that they have to win out, and see the utility flying in now. Smoke's coming down. Mollies follow up, and there, that's going to flush some players out. BTN heavily tagged here. The flashes are there too. Kalinka gets the frag. Oh, Ragged goes down to Kalinka as well. Aime here comes in. Double kill for him. And this might just be it. It's a 2v2 now. The plant is already down, though. Problem here is going to aggressively push up on that smoke, and this might not be anticipated. Oh, they're both doing the same, actually. Oh, look at that. They're crossing each other. Never mind. Problem notices, and he takes out Aime. And now it's only Saminthe left, and what's he going to do? Not much, it seems.
It's just the executes coming in from HELLRAISERS are just too clean to actually, well, try to play around.
Yeah, they're playing together. They're playing it nicely, you know, and there's a couple of things, you know. They started off with the pistol round. Every time they go onto the site, you know, you can expect almost every player to hold it off, you know. And you do have players like Aime showing up for NEXUS when they have to, but the problem is that, yeah, with knives. The problem is that him doing that alone is not enough. That's not enough to win the round. And combine that, you know, with some more underperformance and with HELLRAISERS being too good, they don't stand much of a chance, honestly.
Well, it's just Vincent now getting a kill towards Kalinka. Ime, however, falling, despite having that knife mental booster. It's going to be actually the pistol going in favor of NEXUS so far. Only Flourish alive, and the bump dropped on towards mid. He gets a first, goes for a second. He will get that as well. He will try to face 1v1s time and time again, but there will be a clean double peek coming in from the NEXUS side. Second round, baby, let's go.
Boom.
Comeback. Este Real.
Real. Yeah, that was it. Apparently they said something about pronouncing every letter.
Well, that does... well, it makes sense. Because sometimes in certain languages, you don't even pronounce certain letters. Yeah, then so why are they there, RJ?
Yeah, you know...
Why are they there?
Because that's the way language was made, I'm afraid.
That's weird. At least Romanian,
you know, actually,
makes sense to me.
That reminds me of this funny conversation I had with a friend of mine. At one point, she caught me onto the fact that whenever I say, well... you know, the day after Friday?
Yes, Saturday.
Yeah, so whenever I say that, she caught me onto the fact that I don't pronounce the like the T in between, Saturday. So she just, yeah, and every time now that I say it...
Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Every time that I say it now, she
From Manchester.
Well, no.
I'm not sure.
No, it's just a regular English thing. But now every time she catches me on it, and she just, she laughs herself silly. So that's something at least.
Well, so far, HELLRAISERS once more starting off well with 2 frags, in the contrary to 1 for NEXUS. They're still a double AWP, however, so maybe on the long range they can make it work. As Saminthe now takes down a Lime. Back to a 3-on-3, back to equal numbers. And where's the pressure coming from HELLRAISERS? At least they have some long control, but Zello is then fighting the AWP. Long angle, Saminthe. He's doing it.
Yeah,
Getting 2 kills so far, and Zello as well. suddenly this might indeed be the comeback that is going to be real for the side of Nexus. Hello once more, getting another frag. There's one way to do it, that's one way to bounce back, and that is one way to get your third round in. Yet, of course, there'll still be a quite big hill to climb for the side of Nexus. But stop believing, hold on to the feeling.
Always, always. You know, also, Xello here, this position, I'm just getting instant age flashbacks, you know?
Oh, yes.
He must also have the same feeling, I think. Just the calculatedness of it, you know? Boom! Give that man an AWP and he'll rock your world. Now let's see, though, if HELLRAISERS will continue to rock themselves. They could end out this half with a serious 12-3 advantage, or Nexus could come back a little bit now and make it into that 5-10. That is not the best score, but it's, you know, manageable. That you can work with that.
Meanwhile, Lime setting by with native sense. Good flashbang from his teammate. Now with Minte getting in for a double kill, but JR and Lime at the same time will both get a frag. Lime also not that tagged, so that still means we're on to a 3-on-3 situation. We have a good chance for HELLRAISERS to get around, but of course, an equal chance for the side of Nexus. AWP on towards Raga, not on towards Cello. He has fallen to the hands of JR. There's still a very good chance that, well, we will now see HELLRAISERS go towards the A side. Via short, something we see them do before, and ooh, BTN going just a little bit too far.
Just a bit.
Towards the back, which means, or at least rather close maybe, because he then can't see over the smoke, can't see the player actually rotate, but he has a very good guess. Now, throws in the molly. There will be players. That's a very good nade as well. Fresh going even lower. The JR is moving up, and they will have some mollies as well on the side of HELLRAISERS, with then also some flashbang smokes, everything flying out. And there's still a player on towards long from the side of Nexus, and I think HELLRAISERS so far is respecting that.
Solid nade, though. And who knows, this might actually, you know, it's this after plant situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I have not seen Nexus get a lot of diffusers in so far this this half.
No, not really.
No.
But then again, they've only had 3 rounds. It's going to be BTN with first frag on towards AR. 2 more to find there and short, and that smoke is good. Raga has a kill towards Lime, meaning only players is alive, and he can't make it work. Is there a defuse kit? Yes, on every player of Nexus.
Hey.
And now they have their 4th round. Comeback Estereal.
the cast the curse, right? The moment I call out the fact that Nexus hasn't had a lot of defusers, what do they do next? They defuse.
Is it a curse? Or
No,
is it
that's
a gift?
not really a curse. That's a bit of a blessing more. Absolutely blessed. We'll see, though, if Nexus can be blessed enough to make it a 5th round for them now. Or if HELLRAISERS, with, I believe, decent enough reserves here. Yeah, they have everything they could desire, probably. Will they now actually show up and... Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that sheer utility. The thickness of it.
Well, meanwhile, we see Zella with the AWP dodging another shot from JR as well, he actually goes in towards Zelos, gets the first frag, goes to peek against T-Spawn, but ooh, there's another player to it lower. There's 2 actually. Lime will eventually get a refrag. That's overstaying your welcome big time, as that means that now Nexus lost the player lead, and well, with also Emeg going aggressive, they will lose yet another player, and BTN has to play close towards the smoke with possibly some pressure from his teammates. Yet another smoke coming in from the side of Nexus, and they are trying to contest towards possibly short, because you know HELLRAISERS will at this point go for that A split. And with only 3 players alive, it will be mainly on the back of, I believe, Raga with the AWP still on towards the A side, and it's going to be very hard for him to hold. Looking towards short, first kill to come in. Now going for a second as the flashes will come. Oh, at Merlin, there will be Lime already moving through. Refrag from BTN as he's flying through that short area. That's a very good timing from him. 2 on 2 and the time. It is not taking really in favor of Nexus just yet, but slowly we'll get there. As we're running towards the stalemate, the players pulled out that card. It's a very good spray from BTN. Father B doing what he needs to do, leaving on the JR alive. 1 headshot will do the trick. But will they know he's on the ledge? Well, they will know now. Saminthe with the last one, and 10-5. Damage control being done by Nexus. And with Saminthe top fragging quite decently, they're actually bringing it back. And well, as you said, only 1 defuse. But at least now a streak of 4 rounds to possibly continue on towards their T side.
That's their solid chance now. They have to really end it up in that CT side. Of course, HELLRAISERS are now on their T side. Well, they played exceptionally well, I'd say. You know, a 5-round advantage is something to really, well, be proud of, I'd say, if you're going into your second half. Now, you can see that at the end of the replay coming in there again. JR, sadly, not standing much more of a chance, all on his lonesome.
In the meantime, We will wait for the second half to start. Glocks to come in. Raga being an NIP and of course a Freiburg fan, because who isn't? Maybe that's souvenir Glock skin to come in. Beautiful as ever. Just as beautiful as Raga himself, going forward at a long control with his team. Flashbang to stand by, but Lime will actually be here for a flank. Spots the player with the bomb. That's a lot of intel. But actually in lower tunnel, Ime will get it first on towards Kalinka, also on towards Flarage. So Lime will have to get a fury of frags to bring this round back. The smokes will go towards Cross. He's coming in slowly but steadily, but there's no player on towards the side as JR is moving towards short later on. J-Lime, actually now too late, and he will be the first to frag. Oh my god, it was sloppy. He takes down Raga in the end. It's going to be JR falling as well on towards short. That means it's harder for the side of Hellraisers to bring it back, but with Lime, yet another frag coming in. Problem as well, but he will be traded out. It's going to be a 2-on-1, and Lime is not respecting the fact there might be a player in towards Berlin, and that player will peek in. Zello will actually get the frag from short, meaning we now have that 6-10. Nexus getting the second pistol and starting their comeback.
Absolutely. Who knows what they might pull off on this T side now to show us that they really are the masters of Dust 2 after all, with their 67% win rate up against Hellraisers as well, 46. Still considerably more, as a matter of fact. 21% more.
Well, the big thing was that if Lime would have been earlier on that flank, it would have really made it work.
Yeah.
There could have been a chance for 2 or 3 kills, but well, he just couldn't, as we now see actually Lime falling back to his teammate. Good spray from BTN. Zello as well with a wallbang on towards JR as the elevator boost comes in. He now has spotted that player. Looking forward, he had to come up, and so far the player is trying to hide, of course, with a smoke as well. He will hide in the smoke. A spray, or at least an expansion of their ammo, will come in soon from Nexus, which makes it easier for Hellraisers to get some frags in. However, with now BTN taking out players quite easily, it's only J-Lime actually standing by. Of course, it's Lime, but we're now getting accustomed to J-Lime.
Yeah.
This is going to be only one player remaining. Kalinka going down to Ime. And it is now 7-10. Nexus getting yet another round for themselves, meaning they're growing closer to Hellraisers that have to go on towards Nico after forcing in the previous.
And who knows, right? It is a very solid chance here for Nexus. They have 3 rounds deficit. That's actually manageable, you know? That's not the biggest disadvantage that we've seen in the past. Really a good chance for them even to come back from that. And Hellraisers, they can, of course, simultaneously... Oh, I see a Zeus again. 2 Zeuses, even. Is that... Yeah, 2 Zeuses. But where are they going to use those?
Well, normally you only have 1 god with the same name, but this time there's 2. Both JR and Problem will be standing by close range to zip the sap whoever comes in towards a wrong step. As it will be JR eventually being wallbanged. It's unfortunate for him, but a good thing for at least the players of Nexus not losing too much. And also with the follow-up as BTN gets a double of his own. It will be only Problem alive with that Zeus on towards the B side, hoping a player will eventually go for the hunt. And, well, if we had to pick one to go for that hunt, it will be Ime.
Absolutely.
Because he's usually the guy to fall, but also Raga could be one of those players. Minze now checking if he could spot out the player. Maybe he has now spotted out the shoulder as well, and indeed he has on towards Problem. He now, of course, knows there will be a longer range engagement. Gets one, goes for a second, but BTN with a 4K is just too strong. And the IGL of the Romanian team Nexus will be able to close out the round and bring it to 8-10.
And so far, Nexus, very convincing T-side from them. Very nice to see as well, of course, refreshing. And that provides a positive outlook on the rest of this map so far. For a moment, it looked like maybe, just maybe, Nexus would have had to give it up here, especially on that, well, second half with the result that they went into it with. But now, in a relatively rapid pace as well, we've seen Nexus build up the 3 rounds extra, and before we know it, they'll probably be on double digits themselves.
Moving up once more aggressively with all those flashes coming in as well. It's the opening kill towards Slime. There's still a player at the corner now trying to fall back. Flarage with an M4 in hand, and he will make it back quite safely and actually unscathed. Now 2 players on the side of Nexus will be low, but also 1 player in towards mid. Problem now being spotted out, but there's 2 players standing by. They will try to face off against the strong rifler in the form of Ime. Seminze going a little bit low, but BTN in the meantime takes down Flarage, meaning it's now a 5-on-3 with JR the first to refrag. Problem also with 1 frag in return, but JR will fall to Seminze. Bomb to be, well, eventually planted, not really dropped. And now a 3-on-2 situation with Raga being low. Siminse going on that hunt, and he will find a player. Great flick on towards Kalinka. Problem now, trying to save because there's nothing much to gain. But there is a good chance that Siminse will hold off his back as he's currently on towards that shotgun. You see this player, he will get a frag as well. Triple kill for Siminse and a knife round for Nexus against another buy of Hellraisers. So now you would expect a pistol armor.
Absolutely, and with that, well, Hellraisers should actually have the, or will give off that coming round, which means that for Nexus, it's going to be in the pocket. We see the odds here for overtime on, obviously, vi.gg. These are reasonable odds. I think, you know, for 4.4, I think that there's a solid chance, actually, that this might go into overtime, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if Hellraisers just come back in the late game, you know, when they really think, oh yeah, right, we had to win this. And then they'll realize and they'll start gaining a couple of rounds again.
Well, first, Nexus has to at least equalize the score against the pistol armor.
Oh, but
of course,
they'll
that's
do
quite...
that.
Nah, well, we've never seen a pistol armor win, as we do actually see Kalinka forcing up all of his money spent. And I'm not really sure if that was the intention for the Hellraiser side. They, of course, do have their max loss bonus working for him, but still,
I
forcing everything.
I assume that there'll be a logical reason for it, right? Well, I think that Kalinka's a skilled enough player not to force through if that's not the plan, right?
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 Well,
It's
he
not like
has the MP7,
okay. Oh,
and I believe a P250 as well in his pocket, so that might have been a missed buy.
yeah, that's not really the kind of thing that you expect
It's
to
an
see.
Hellraisers, yikes. There's going to be a very quick B-rush coming down from Nexus saying, well, they most likely won't stack here. We've never gone here before. And with the nade now coming in, a little bit of damage on towards one of the players on the side of Nexus. And, well, as Lime sends one flying, it's going to be at least at 5-4, but a bomb being planted. They have to establish tunnel control to have that safe exit later on. Because, well, otherwise you might die, and Kalinka is standing by with the MP7 to at least make it work and make some money in return. JR, however, will fall, and Kalinka now gets close with the MP7, but also goes down to Cello. And still, they had his tunnels position pretty well covered up, with now Lime being standing by with the Deagle. Almost pre-fired by Raga, now he has an M4 as well. Tries to fall back as there is a molly at the window. And Siminse can't really contest it, almost goes down himself. And it will be the round going in favor of Nexus. However, they have lost too much money. They're also given a weapon for the time being to a problem as well. He takes down another frag, but Ime takes down Lime, meaning we now have at least an AK saved and an equal score.
Yeah, and who knows, that AK might be good for Hellraisers going into this next round. But we'll see. I believe that, well, with this, Hellraisers are definitely going to have a solid buy. You can see it as well. Look at their utility level, their equipment value. They have everything that their hearts could desire. But this question is if that what their hearts might desire will also help to achieve the potential round wins over Nexus that they so dearly need.
The BP will stand by, no flashes to come in to help Siminse, meaning that this time around he won't be as successful. But we do have that player lead in favor of the side of Hellraisers. The smokes will go on towards the cross position. They will get close. They will try to disrupt the players from the CT side from that closer range. Of course, AKs to spray. A little bit easier than the AWP on towards AR, but he's still standing by, going for an aggressive peek right here. Able to fall back behind the box if he needs to. Well, he's now coming down. He will be flashed out correctly. This time around, he won't win the fight. Early to be Molly, but the spray from the line will deal some damage on towards the planting Raga. However, he then also cancels his plant, only to start it again later on. Now the boost will come down, but Raga is done planting. So that's an easy headshot coming down, also on towards Lime. And Kalinka, the last player to fall before Flyers, will get one kill in return. In towards the 1v3, and he's going to save once more, hoping to bring that M4 into another round. And, well, he's banking on players moving past, and Ime, he's hunting down, but might actually fall. As he doesn't have full HP, Flarge has a bigger chance of fragging him. Should have a clean headshot, but, well, if the spray goes wayward, you know Ime will be able to contest and brings it into an 11-10. Nexus in the round lead now.
And that is actually, I believe, the first time that Nexus now achieves the advantage. And with that, we see Hellraisers now probably struggling, questioning themselves, wondering, well, what are we supposed to do now? This isn't according to plan. And you can see it as well in their buy, which is basically going to be non-existent. A pistol. Oh, okay. Oh, Kalinka, I guess, had some extra money, of course, because his economy isn't aligned with the rest of the team. And he goes down quite immediately right through the smoke. Xello's taking him out, and the rest of HELLRAISERS seems to fall. We see Lime going down there. And for the rest, it's 2 Deagles and MP9. JR here perhaps might be able to get that frag. No, he doesn't. As Xello shoots him down, leaving only Flarich and Problem. And I'd say that they have a pretty big problem, seeing as they have a 3-man disadvantage.
Maybe Molly will cut off the rotation back towards the A side. MP9 still in the hands of Problem, and it was lucky that eventually BTM was almost going to run out of ammo, but he didn't. Now Xello with the last frag on towards the A side player, 12-10. NEXUS quite cleanly now starting to build economy, building rounds and building a lead even. And they were, at a certain time, I do believe, 10-1 behind. And now they've built it all the way to this moment, and that's pretty big.
10-1?
Yeah. They had the last 4 rounds of that first half.
Yeah.
So they were 10-1 behind. Now it's
12-10
in their favor.
Oh, Lord. Oh, okay, wow, it's getting late, clearly.
Sure, excuses. NEXUS just better than your brain.
Let's just see, though, if they can keep this advantage up, right? 2 rounds for them. And HELLRAISERS, who, honestly, they might still have a good chance to bring this back. It will depend on how this round as well goes, for example. They've fully invested now, M4s, AWP, etc. It's all for them, but utility isn't really the best. You can see, you know, what they have will have to be used sparingly. Whereas, well, NEXUS, they can just build out their advantage now. And of course, Dust 2, has to be said, was their map pick. And right now, HELLRAISERS might actually be denying that, because Problem here, along with JR, is getting some solid frags. Shoots down the NEXUS lads, leaving only 2 alive. Xello, though, he might come in clutch here. Takes out Lime. Looks towards Long, but JR is faster. Outpeaks him. Ragga, though, smooth headshot there. Right on target. Doesn't commit to the plan just yet because it was a little bit of a bait. He does try and does not succeed with his quick scope as Kalinka ends up fragging him out, and HELLRAISERS do grab back another round. So, the point that I wanted to make here.
Yes.
Dust 2 is, of course, NEXUS their map pick. So I dare say that it is quite vital that NEXUS actually get this map, you know, for starters. And
well, especially looking at how they performed on Vertigo last time around.
Yeah, so it's pretty much just a given that if NEXUS can't actually get this first map, if they have to push it to Vertigo, then I'm going to be worried for those lads. It's going to be well, dreadful perhaps. So we'll see how this next round is going to go for HELLRAISERS. NEXUS, of course, they did have the advantage, and still kind of do, of some serious reserves to build up on. So it doesn't matter that much that they lost the round, aside from the fact that their advantage has just shrunk.
Well, sometimes things shrink, especially if you wash them too hot, and, well, then you can't wear your favorite clothes anymore.
Let's hope that doesn't happen to our sweaters, right?
No sweat. As we know, they need to come out from BTN. Problem also trying to throw one in return. It's a little bit of trade, and that's how it goes. But in Dutch, we have a saying. From trading, people start crying. But then in Dutch, it does
Oh,
rhyme.
right, yeah.
And
yeah,
while we do see the first frag going in favor of the side of HELLRAISERS, with now Problem getting the first frag, but Xello getting one in return. This might be a B play coming down with 4 players from that mid area. 50 seconds still on the clock, and they're trying to get in there slowly but steadily, but maybe a little bit too slowly because the flank from Flarich is coming soon, as there might be a player coming down in towards Zelos later on. Subinse will get the first frag on towards side. Kalinka still standing by, misses his second off shot, will be waiting for the support, and there's a beautiful tap with the USB. Only BTN will now go for a spray, but as I said, from tunnels there is a flanker. It will be Flarich, and it will be Flarich with the last frag as well. 12-12, we have an equal score, and HELLRAISERS now also have a little bit momentum going for themselves.
Yeah, HELLRAISERS, they managed to pull it back there and, well, show that they can actually potentially make life quite difficult for NEXUS, that they could also potentially push this to overtime. I don't think we'd be surprised if we saw that. We've seen overtime, well, once today, and only once. And when you
that's concerning.
Yeah, when you think about it, you know, that's actually not as much. That's not what we're used to. That's not right. That's not how it should be. So I'd say let's definitely keep our eyes peeled and see what HELLRAISERS can bring to the table. This time round it is NEXUS opening up the round well. That frag from Aime there coming in clutch and taking out one of the HELLRAISERS players.
Fanny Romani sunt minunati. Meanwhile, we see Flourish actually getting a double kill, and also Ime will get something in return, but Lime still in pit. Will of course be an anchor. Bomb to be dropped towards his position. 1 minute 15 left on the clock, and it seems to be NEXUS doing a little bit of an oopsie. Losing players by the minute, and now there will be possibly a blue container boost to have a chance for them to be able to get another kill, and of course an easier round. Zello in at 1v2 with the AWP, of course not really the easiest weapon to work with. We'll try to slowly get in towards a different angle. And look at his boost as well. JR standing underneath Lime. I'm going to angle towards the long doors, and well, now actually will peek out towards Zello. 13-12, and HELLRAISERS now regained that lead. And it seems like HELLRAISERS now finally have 3 rounds on their CT side, which, well, took their sweet time.
Yeah, they needed their time to do it, but, you know, good things come to those who wait, is the saying that, you know, you might have heard before. And for a moment here, you know, I thought it might have been looking positive, but then J-Lime, or Lime even, along with Flourish, just completely turned it around.
The smokes went away and it was done.
Yeah. Let's see, though. Oh, that was close there. Mighty dangerous. Could have potentially been a very strong start again for HELLRAISERS if they got the frag there. Kalinka here, though. If they push this tunnel's position, they might be facing some unexpected competition.
It's going to be Problem sending by quite aggressively as JR now takes down Zello. That means that Problem doesn't even have to push. There's a very big chance they will come to him, and he just has to hold off. Now there will be peeking. It's going to be Ime with the first frag. There will be a player in towards the lower tunnel. That's Kalinka with the MP9. Also moving up, trying to get a kill in return, but Ime getting a second as well. Look at the HP on the side of those CTs. There's a very good chance that NEXUS might bring it back. And then looking at the economy of HELLRAISERS, not everyone will have the money to rebuy. So if NEXUS manages to make this work, there would be a chance for them to then regain the lead on 13-14. Ime gets another frag as BTM then will fall, but it's going to be that 3v2 player to be spotted out as Lime actually quite dangerously crossing out in the open. JR still with the AWP, might come back later on, but meantime, Raga will get a kill towards Lime. That's the B side opened up by NEXUS, plan to come in, and JR with a logical save, which means that indeed equal score now for NEXUS. And if they can't buy on the HELLRAISERS side, which, well, of course, JR could make it a little bit easier by dropping 2 weapons, they will have a world of trouble. There might be a lead for the Romanian team. They might be able to win this map.
But it's going to be close, is I think
oh yes,
a solid point to end that sentence on. And oh, JR, he's dealing so much damage now, though. I suppose Raga wasn't really anticipating him there, and I will admit JR has definitely been happily scooting around on the map a little bit. But still, that is a shame, you know, that they lose that many weapons. JR also only 3 HP left, and he takes this P250 AWP Diffuse Kit. Quite a lot of stuff with him to the next round, so don't underestimate, you know, how much or how worthwhile that is. We'll see, though, now. It is 13-13. It is also incredibly close. These two are well matched to each other, and whilst HELLRAISERS might have gotten a solid start with a solid advantage over NEXUS at one point, you know, 10-1, as you said, I do believe that, well, HELLRAISERS here, they might be facing a worthy adversary, and it could still be going the way of NEXUS. It just depends. Just have to see what way it goes. And right now, looking at their economy, I'd say for both teams, it's not going to be an ideal buy. It's not going to be a perfect buy, but they're going to be facing off against each other on somewhat equal footing, I believe. And right now, I'm going to say that this might be a tactical from HELLRAISERS.
Well, of course, they need all the time they can to prepare for another round, because so far, they're having quite some struggle. It's going to be NEXUS now having the equal score once more. Their odds still less favored than that of HELLRAISERS, because, of course, HELLRAISERS has beat them in the past. But NEXUS is just a crazy team, and if they can win their own map pick, then, of course, Vertigo will still be hard. Hello, Inferno, they will know that they will be able to do it. The last time around, however, that was yesterday, of course,
Oh, really?
We did see Inferno go in favor of Hellraisers with 16-10. And the big problem for me was on the CT side for Hellraisers, they just got so much room to work with. They were able to just push through mid. Of course, their T side was a little bit more sloppy, yet it was a concisive win, which meant that Nexus might have to go to the drawing board. At least we'll have a lot to learn. And maybe this time around will be enough for them to win, but the round doesn't start all too well. JR with frag towards the mid. Now also seeing a few players on towards mid is Flarich falling back, exploiting already some of this utility to then slow things down.
And with that, the slow coming in, that could go into the way of Hellraisers. Of course, as the CTs, they always have the time on their side. It is Nexus on the T side that will always be pressured to do things under a certain time constraint. Hellraisers can indeed delay as much as they like. And with that, we'll see if this delay and also these aggressive frags there, Lime, that's a pretty deep push-up that he went for, but it does succeed for him, you know. 3v5 comes out, and Hellraisers, they just maintain their advantage and extend it a little bit. Kalinka here. It's going to be a solid molly now. That's going to block off window. Now you can see some shots flying through her, and look at that problem along with the Kalinka flash. Coming clutch, and Hellraisers grab a clean 14th round. No losses on their side. Only problem who was shot a little bit, you know. Maybe lost a finger or two. That's about it.
Well, indeed, we now see that 14-13 lead once more in favor of Hellraisers. And so far, they seem to be the stronger team, yet struggling against Nexus, their prowess every now and then. And indeed, it's going to be Hellraisers now on the lead, having a very good buy. Whereas, unfortunately for the Romanian side, they only have an eco. That's not what you want to have. That's not what you need to have right now.
No.
But it seems to be the cold hard truth. Ooh, smacking them straight in the face.
The harsh reality of life. Coming right
there goes
in.
Gravity.
Well, we'll see right now. It starts off well once again for Hellraisers. JR gets the first frag. Lime comes in, takes out Xello. And now JR is going to peek, and Aimee goes down as well. Nade now with the follow-up. That doesn't luckily deal that much damage. Nexus now can at least get these two players out alive, but surprise, surprise, here's Kalinka coming from mid, might even go for the spray down, and he does get the shot on Rega. And oh boy, Saminsei, what are you going to do, our dear
Free
friend?
plant, baby, nobody on the B side. Kalinka now going for the chase. We'll get a decent chunk of damage in. Eventually also his second kill of the round. And as you said, well, it seemed to go south for Nexus, and now it will be a map point for Hellraisers on the Romanian side's map. And then going on towards Vertigo.
Yikes is perhaps the right thing to say, to clear that up a little bit perhaps for the people just tuning in. Vertigo is going to be Hellraisers their map pick. This is Nexus their map pick, and whilst they have been performing admirably on it, they haven't been performing excellently on it. And that's kind of what's lacking here. You can see that they can't quite follow up, that they can't quite finish it off. And the risk is, of course, you know, that here Hellraisers might now get that first opening frag, maybe the second one. And with that, the moment that happens, the moment that Nexus lose the advantage now in this round, we will see this map going to Hellraisers, and that would be dire. That would be, well, about the least ideal situation for them that you can imagine, because going to Vertigo, going to Hellraisers, their map pick, and we've seen Vertigo before, well, it seems like not only do the Hellraisers raise hell there, but they also raise the level. And oh, it starts off. Flarich here takes out Xello. He might repeat, could go for a second. BGM, though, does throw it back. Flarich here has a good angle for the headshots, and he does peek. He does spot them. One tap on there, but not the connect. Oh. The first one is there, but Saminsei is there with the refrag quite immediately. Now the frags are being tossed around to and fro. It's 3v3. HP advantage is for Hellraisers, though. And of course, time advantage. Hellraisers are on the CT side, and oh, problem takes out Aimee. And oh dear, Aimee. That's not the best thing to happen there now, is it, my dear friend?
BTN spots a player trying to cross back towards that B side because it seemed like Hellraisers was stacking towards A. BTN moves up through Suicide, and, well, it does its name justice. Only Saminsei alive in a 1v3 with 10 HP, and, well, just 20 seconds left on the clock. He wants to go for that B take, and he has to go really quickly, as there will be a player from Tunnels not to be seen by him just yet, but it will be Lime with the last frag. And that means 16-13. The first map goes in favor of HELLRAISERS. And I hate to say it, but it was a must-win for the side of Nexus to actually have a good chance at winning with 2-1.
You hate to see it happen, but, well, it is what it is now. Nexus, they lose this with a 3-round disadvantage. It's not the worst, you know. They performed admirably on this. They did a really good job, but sadly, they couldn't quite pull it through, you know. It was just that slight lackluster performance. At times, a few frags that went too easily to the HELLRAISER side of things, and with that, sadly, the result being that they do lose their own map pick. I want to reiterate this. I want to clarify, well, really push on this. This was Nexus their map pick. This was Dust 2. This was supposed to be their territory. And sadly, right now, they didn't quite make it look like their territory, to be quite honest. You know, this was really Dust 2. They should have had this, but they didn't. And now going into Vertigo, well, Childrick, I'm a little bit frightened, to be